Hello and welcome to another build guide. Um, can we call it a build guide? I'm not really sure because this build is only good at one thing, and that is it is really good at killing the Temple Keeper, which is what you saw in the clip earlier. And the reason why is because you can skip pretty much everything he does, because the minions on this character actually just skips the face completely. And on top of that, the build has like ridiculous damage, um, as you saw. But uh, that doesn't mean it's a good character, like at all. Like I would say that if you want to play this character, it's only to defeat the Temple Keeper uh, at floor 150, because he can be quite tough on other characters. Um, I did invest a lot of time into this character, honestly, and more than I should have, because it's simply not necessary to this point I am at the moment. Currently, I have over 100,000 mana, and that's kind of a meme, honestly. And that's one of the things that we have to scale on this character to actually get a bunch of skeleton guards, or whatever they're called, squares. I'm not sure if that's what you call. Let's just call them skeleton minions. And then, as you can see, the damage is quite high, like 13,500 to almost a million. I could get a million if I rearrange a few things on my character right now, and I will probably show that later on. Now, how can it deal so much damage? Like, the minions only have 40% skill damage, right? And the weapon itself does not have that much flat added damage. So there's a few things that actually does this, and that is the attribute system. This is like the core thing you have to do if you want to pull off these damage numbers. And as you guessed it, the first thing was this one. So this one does that you get a lot of raw damage equal to missing mana. So if you have like a huge mana pool, you get a lot of flat max raw damage. So this is not like a average damage. Like when it says max raw damage, it's like the top end damage. So you don't get like minimum damage. So you get like, let's say, you can have 100,000 max damage, but you can also have like 500 minimum raw damage. I'm not quite sure how much I have. I can probably find it over here. Yeah, raw damage. So as you can see, yeah, actually I only have like the minimum amount of damage is 180 raw damage to 100,000. And that is just because of this one right here, and that gets added to our skeletons at 40%. So it's actually just like, let's say, around 100 to 40,000 raw damage because of the skill damage they have. And the other reason why we're getting so much damage is because of this one right here. This one is insane on this character. Like, it's so dumb. So I think when we really want to go memeing on this character, I could get up to like 200 minions. And you already know what that means. That means 2000% increased damage. That's so fucking dumb. So yeah, this one right here, plus this one, paired with this weapon right here. I mean, it was just destined to be like this. It is so dumb. So yeah, and on top of that, the minions also get a bit of damage on the weapon itself, and then you get the minion increased damage multiplier on top of it. So yeah, I mean, these things together make just a shitload of damage, you know? So yeah. The only ability you want to focus on is just the skeleton minions, because the unstable bones is not really... I mean, it doesn't work. I feel like it's just empty space on the skill bar right here. And you're probably wondering why I'm using this one right here, Burning Rage. It's not necessary. I just have it because it's a lot of fun because you can actually get quite a bit of damage out of it because of this one right here. And it's not the only reason why I'm choosing this path. This one right here, Focus, is not necessary because it's a channeling skill where you get mana regeneration. Just ignore this. So because of this one, 60% of your reserve mana is going to be added as elemental damage. So as you can see, we get quite a bit of elemental damage. And that's why I'm using this one. And another reason why I'm using this one is because it's logging percentages of my mana. Cause, like, if you don't do that, your game will definitely lag a lot. Like, I think I'm already losing a bit of frames. Yeah. So normally I have like 60 frames per second, and now I have like 45. And this is not even with that many minions, because there's another node in the tree. Right here, Auramancer. If you pick this one up and don't use any of the, the other auras right here, it's gonna lag a lot. Like you will get like a lot of frame drops just by doing so. And you also get the like this one right here that grants a bit more mana. And yeah, it's just dumb. Like it's not necessary. And here comes the downside of the build. You would think this is insanely good, right? Like insanely good. But as you can see, sadly, that our minions have life, right? And that means they can get killed. And if you take Rev 10, there's a lot of things that can absolutely melt them in no time. Especially the challenge breaches. Okay, I'm sorry, this is very loud. And challenge breaches, that's the one where enemies that dies explode for a percentage of their HP. And that means they just get one-shotted, like all the minions. And it's just not fun to play. So yeah. The minions, you cannot sustain their life except for clearing one floor at a time in an expedition. So if they lose a bit of life, they get full HP on the next floor. And that's the only way to actually sustain these minions. Like you may be able to play on another like a class, like let's say I'm not 100% sure, but I think the knight with banners have like a banner that it can actually grant them life on hit or something. But it's so little that it doesn't matter. So it's really a clunky build, but has a crap load of damage. Now, you saw all the tribute mechanics. This is mostly what carries the build a lot, and then getting a lot of mana on gear. And then another thing I wanna show you is this node right here that's making this character even more absurd in terms of damage. So this one in the Architect of Death with the totems, you get this one, Evasion Magic. And so if you have like a lot of evasion, you get granted a lot of flat mana. And this is pretty much how we scale a character. Like we scale it with a lot of evasion, flat mana, percentage evasion, percentage mana, and percentage evasion multiplier, and percentage mana multipliers. So there's a lot of stuff you can like double dip with this character in terms of mana scaling. And this one is a big part of it to grant you a lot of like mana in total. And I would actually say, like, I'm just sure, like, I'm kind of a show off right now because I have like 100,000 mana. It doesn't really make it better. It just makes it worse because your frames is going to tank a lot. So yeah, you probably noticed that I have a lot of legendaries on my character. I would say that only 2 of them is necessary, and that is this one and this one. This is self-explanatory. This is just a mana multiplier. And then there's this one, and you're probably wondering why I'm not using the other evasion multiplier chest, and that is just because I'd rather want armor instead of evasion. This doesn't mean that you're not like doesn't have like 0 evasion. It just means you cannot dodge. But then you get like a lot of armor out of it, and every time you get hit, it gets 50% more out of it. So if I get hit, I would get up to like 30,000 armor instead. So that's quite a lot of damage reduction you get from that. So these 2 is the only necessary ones. All the other stuff is just fillers. Because I had a lot of legendaries and it looked cool to have on a character. Uh, it would benefit me more if I just used epic items. Like for example this one, why am I using this one? It just grants me additional projectiles that I'm not gonna use. And yeah, a lot of other stuff that is just, it's just filler items. And as you can see, I actually don't have that many epic items, and that's just because I, for some reason, picked the legendary items without any epic mods. I'm not sure why I did that. That was actually a huge waste of time, but I guess I can use this on other characters in the future. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just focusing a lot on the flat mana, evasion, percentage, stuff, and multipliers. And if you do that on this character and pick these 2 attribute nodes, you will get like a billion damage on this character. It's just so fucking dumb. Yeah. Some other stuff that is very important is the masteries that I do want to go over right now. So I talked about this one. This is very important and opens up for a lot more mana scaling. We use this one because we can scale air conditioner and the burning rage in the area size. That's very nice to have. You get this one to grant you a bit more life while in combat. And the way we scale totems, I mean how we summon them, is by this one. So you have like a 5% chance to create a light ballista when you kill stuff, and that also counts for your minions. And then, yeah, if you kill stuff really fast, you get a bit of life. That's very nice. Another thing is this one. Honestly, the light ballistas do a bit of damage, as you can see right here, so it's not that bad to have. And then this one is the way we get a lot of elemental resistance, as you can see. So it says elemental resistance is equal to 68% of your elemental damage, and as I said before in the Ancestral tree, we have this one that grants a lot of elemental damage. So that's pretty nice. Honestly, that's a huge buff. So you can definitely like, I wouldn't say does that much in the higher ref levels. Like you will probably still get one shot by most things. But like in the ref, let's say 5 to 6 or something, you don't even feel any elemental damage at all. So this is quite nice. We have this one, and that's just because there's nothing else. Like this one right here doesn't do anything. This one doesn't do anything, and this one doesn't do anything. So I just picked this one. If you accidentally used a turret, and I'm going over why you shouldn't be using your turrets. Like the only ability you should be using yourself is Rain of Arrows. and I will explain soon why. And yeah, we do have a bit of damage ourselves, so 1% life leech is quite nice to have, so that's why I picked this one, the Leecher. Now, I want to explain why Rain of Arrows is our go-to as a support skill. The first one is this one right here, Hunting Net. This allows you to suck enemies into the center of your Rain of Arrows, and that's very nice. Like, that's a lot of crowd control, so you can like suck all the enemies into your minions and let them do the work for you. But then again, you actually do quite a lot of damage yourself, and as you can see, it's like 3,000 to 200,000 skill damage, and you gotta multiply that by 4 because you gain 3 additional volleys with this one, covering fire. And then we have this one pinned down. That's just more crowd control, so enemies don't have any movement speed at all. I'm not sure if there's anything else. I don't think so. No. Now this one is just the best one, because this one is useless, because we have a bit of leech in this character, and leech is infinitely better than life on kill. And then another big thing is this one. Everything is awesome, because this one is definitely awesome. So every time you shoot while delighted, you gain a delightful rain of what is it called? Delightful rain stack, and this grants you 2% increased attack speed for every stack, and you can stack it up to 25 times. So that means 50% increased attack speed, and our minions gain that attack speed. As you can see, the text that says attack speed, critical strike chance, and critical strike damage of skeleton minions is equal to yours. So this one is a huge damage increaser, even though it's it's so unnecessary, man. It's I know it sounds weird. It's better for yourself than the minions, because that means you just shoot faster and faster with your rain of arrows, and that just makes it feel better to play, and you can actually deal damage yourself. Now, so that's for rain of arrows and the mastery. Another thing is arrow shot. You don't use arrow shot at all, like on this character. You only use it for the passive evasion multiplier that you grant when delighted. So this one is very simple. While delighted, you have 25% evasion multiplier. That's very nice to have, because that means more mana. And this is the only reason why we are picking this. And then you can just like ignore everything else on the arrow shot. So yeah, this is the Rain of Arrows skill tree, and this one is the only thing you get from arrow shot. So another thing is the Ultimatum is this one, a bit of crit damage. I actually found out that it's just way better to get this Ultimatum power up instead of like scaling it on gear, because that opens up for a lot of like other sources of mods on your character, and that means it would benefit the character way more than actually scaling, like, let's say crit damage instead of evasion stuff in the epic modifiers. Even though I'm not using any, I mean, I'm using a few epic items, but it's not that many, like 3 I think, maybe 4? Yeah, 4. So yeah, this one is definitely the go-to. I feel like that's the best one you can pick out of all of them, because you cannot make your skeletons deal ancestral strike damage or something like that, so that's not worth going for. So getting like crit chance on as many gear pieces as possible is just better. So yeah, let me see. Am I missing something? I'm probably missing something that I'm sure is very important. Oh yeah, right. So, um, so the character, as I said before, grants a lot of minion increased damage the more you have, and yeah, that is true. So if you want to like go all in on that, you could definitely do that. So for example, go up in this right here, and then maybe this one as well, just to make it a bit better. So if you do this, you can drop your frames quite a lot. Because I'm not sure how many I can get at the moment. I think it's around 200. 200 plus actually. And when you get that many, the frames drop significantly. And then you will also be able to see just how much damage you can pull off with these numbers. And it's so overkill, man. Yeah, so my frames is currently like 18. Sometimes 10, I think. No, 17. 17 to 18. And yeah, so you could definitely scale it further if you want to drop your frames down to like 1. But I don't recommend that because that's very unpleasant to play with. So yeah, you can see that the increased damage gets all the way up to 4,400. And your minions deal 30,000 to 2 million. And that is without crit damage. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say right now. Oh yeah, and you can like press this burning shadow to give them even more, all the way up to 2.6 million in the maximum amount of damage, and that's still without crit damage. So, and if you have like 200 minions, yeah, that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot of damage. So yeah, other than that, I think that was pretty much it. Maybe I've missed something. I mean, I can show all my gear pieces before I end the video. As I said before, all the legendaries except for the helmet and the chest is necessary if you want to scale the mana to these absurd amounts, as I did. As you can see, you could definitely scale it way further, especially with more epic items. So yeah, this is pretty much about it. I thought it would be a fun character to make, just because of the interactions, but the biggest downside is just that minions don't survive at all. They're just too squishy. Let me say that. I really wish the primordial version made it like so they were going to get your defensive stats or gain your leech or something like that, so you could actually sustain them in the higher ref levels. But yeah, that's just a dream of mine. The only thing you got with the primordial version is yeah, it's just a bit of minion damage equal to your percentage mana log. So that's kind of laughable. Yeah, I hope they change it in the future to be like percentage mana log instead of flat mana log on the minions, because having this many minions is just too much, and you would still make a lot of damage out of it if it was percentage mana log. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you don't play this character, except if you really want to kill the Temple Keeper, because that's the only reason why I see this character useful. So yeah, take care everybody, and see you in the next video.